So, you want to know who the real murderer is in this game called investing. It's not a market crash. It's not a black swan event. It's not some crook on Wall Street. The real killer is that notification that pops up on your phone. The one telling you your friend or colleague just picked another winner and made more money in a day than you make in a year. In that single instant, your rationality, your principles, they're all burned to a crisp. You're left with a single searing thought. I can't miss out again. And that's when you die. Financially, you become just another loser carried off the field in this game. That's why I always say, before you start thinking about how to make big money, first figure out how not to lose the money you have. This sounds like stating the obvious, but most people get wiped out because they ignore that simple truth. There are two ironclad rules. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. Now, I know it sounds like I'm nagging, but that's the one and only lesson I've learned from watching countless people over half a century build their empires, throw lavish parties, and then watch it all come crashing down. Now, people are always fixated on how much can I make. They count profits they haven't even earned yet, smiling in their sleep. They rarely spend the same amount of time just sitting down quietly with a glass of water to ask themselves, what's the most I could lose? Is it possible I get wiped out completely? What is the absolute worst case scenario? Look, there are 1,000 ways to make money, as many as there are stars in the sky. But there are only a handful of traps that make you lose money, and the bait for every single one of them looks exactly the same. Your own asterisk, asterisk, greed, asterisk, asterisk. The traps are devastating. They can empty a decade of your savings in a single afternoon. Protecting your principal is like defending your castle. As long as the castle stands, you can always recruit more soldiers and ship in more supplies. You'll always have a chance to regroup, but if someone burns your castle to the ground, you're left with nothing. So, learn to play defense first. Learn to dig moats and build high walls, times before times you even think about where to attack. That's the only way you'll last long in this game. Why? Because math is absolutely unforgiving when it comes to losses. This isn't advanced calculus. It's elementary school arithmetic. If you have $100 and you lose 50%, you're left with 50. But to get back to 100 from 50, how much do you need to gain? You need to make 100%. You have to double your money. You see that? A 50% loss requires a 100% gain to break even. The difficulty is night and day. The path downhill is quick and easy. You're at the bottom in the blink of an eye. The path back up is like rock climbing. Every inch requires a coordinated effort of your hands and feet. This is why not losing money is more important than anything. It's not about being timid. It's about having a basic respect for mathematics. A lot of people treat the market like a casino, betting on red or black for the thrill. Let me tell you, that's not investing. That's playing Russian roulette with your life. Real, lasting wealth is never built on thrills. The thing that destroys your castle usually isn't an external enemy. It's the person you see in the mirror. Mr. Market is a moody character. You don't need to predict his moods. You just need to manage your own. I've seen too many brilliant people, graduates from top schools, who understand all the complex charts and formulas, end up losing their shirts. Why? Because they couldn't control their own hands, their own emotions. When the market went up, they thought they were geniuses, rushing to throw all their money in and even borrowing more to double down. When the market went down, they were scared out of their wits, selling their best assets like garbage at the moment of maximum panic. This whole process has nothing to do with intelligence. It's pure emotion. Greed makes you buy high, and fear makes you sell low. So, in the end, investing is about mastering your own mind. A calm observer, watching everyone else act out their dramas of euphoria and despair. Your only job is to quietly pick up the treasures they discard when they're making their biggest mistakes. Where does this kind of mental fortitude come from? It comes from only touching what you understand. Don't touch a single thing you don't get. This rule is written in blood. The world is too big, and there are always new things popping up, each one sounding more profitable than the last. Today, it's this coin. Tomorrow, it's that chain. The day after, it's the metaverse. The salesman is using words you've never even heard before, but he's pounding his chest, telling you it'll triple your money in a month. That's not an opportunity. It's a trap. The money leaves your pocket. It can only go to one of two places. Either it goes into your brain and becomes knowledge and capability. It goes into someone else's pocket. When you know nothing about something, your money is heading for the second destination. My whole life, I've focused on just a few industries that I've watched grow up, that I understand through and through. No matter how exciting the world outside gets, with its strange flowers and exotic fruits I've never seen, I'll look, but I won't touch. Because I know my circle of competence is only so big. One step outside of it, and I'm off a cliff. It is far better to be a king inside your own circle than to be a fool who knows a little about everything outside of it. Time is your only true friend. The biggest problem with young people is that they're in a hurry. They want to get rich overnight and quit their jobs tomorrow. They treat time as an enemy. That is dead wrong. In the game of wealth, time is your most reliable and powerful ally. Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. And he wasn't wrong. And compounding only needs two things: a decent rate of return and a very, very long time. The first part isn't that hard to find. The second part is what most people lack. They have no patience. They buy today and sell tomorrow, paying a mountain of fees that make their brokers rich while their own principal dwindles. They can't see 10 or 20 years down the road. They just want an answer by next week. Your job is to do the exact opposite. Put your money in a place you'd be willing to stay with for 10 years, and then go live your life. Let time and brilliant entrepreneurs do the work for you. Not trying to make a quick buck. You're letting your money have children and then grandchildren. That is the proper way. Any fool can make things complicated. It takes a genius to make them simple. I've noticed that a lot of people love to make investing as complex as a rocket launch. They have desks full of monitors with blinking, multicolored lines that make you dizzy. They throw around terms like Bollinger Bands and Golden Crosses, sounding profound, as if they've unlocked the secrets of the universe. The result? Most of them still lose money because they're focused on the wrong things. When you buy a share of a company, you are becoming a part owner of that business. The questions you should ask yourself are the simple ones a business owner would ask. Does this company make money? Will people still want its products in 10 years? Is the management a bunch of honest, smart people, or are they a bunch of crooks trying to fleece the company? The price I'm paying cheap or expensive compared to the value I'm actually getting? Just a few simple, direct questions. They're more useful than any fancy technical indicator. Throw away the things you don't understand and return to common sense. Common sense is the rarest commodity in the world of investing. In the short run, the market is a voting machine. In the long run, it is a weighing machine. I didn't invent that line, but it's absolutely true. In the short term, the market is just a big popularity contest. Whoever tells the best story, whoever has the hottest theme, gets the most votes, and the stock price goes up. The profitable company might be completely ignored, while a company that's burning through cash and losing money might be praised to the heavens. That's the logic of the voting machine. But stretch the timeline to 5 or 10 years, and everything changes. Popularity, emotion, and stories all evaporate like smoke. In the end, only one thing remains. Value: how much cold, hard cash the company has actually earned for its shareholders. That's the weighing machine. It measures substance. That's all. Don't play the voting game. You'll never beat the better storytellers. Your job is to find the companies with real weight and value. And then, when the voting machine is malfunctioning and everyone is ignoring them, to buy them at a cheap price. Then all you have to do is hold on and wait patiently for the weighing machine to show up. Cheap does not equal value. This is a concept many people never grasp, even on their deathbeds. They see a stock fall from $100 to $10 and think, wow, that's cheap, and they rush in. The result, it might keep falling to $5 or even get delisted. Another stock goes from $100 to $200, and they think, that's too expensive. It ends up going to $1,000. You see, the price itself tells you nothing. The real key is what you are getting for that price. You are buying a piece of a company's future. Paying $10 for a piece of a mess that will only be worth $1 in the future is expensive. Paying $200 for a piece of a great business that will be worth $1,000 in the future is cheap. So stop staring at the price and start investigating the business underneath it. You have to be like a detective, figuring out the company's net worth, its earning power, its competitors, and the depths of its moat. The process is boring and tedious, but that's investing. Everything else is just gambling. The fear and greed are the eternal fuel of the market. Your job isn't to eliminate them, it's to use them. When you see headlines screaming market crash in the biggest font possible, when everyone is running for the exits and throwing away their good stocks like they're hot potatoes, that's your opportunity. The fear is in the air, and it will push prices to ridiculously low levels. This is the time to be greedy when others are fearful. Note, the greed here doesn't mean you should buy indiscriminately with your eyes closed. It means that when gold is literally lying on the street, you need to have the courage to bend down and pick it up. Conversely, when everyone around you, from the taxi driver to the lady who sells vegetables downstairs, is talking about stocks and telling you how much they've made, that's when you should be terrified. The atmosphere of greed is at its peak, and the bubble could pop at any moment. This is when you must be fearful when others are greedy. Your job is to quietly slip out the door. It may sound a little cynical to profit from human weakness, but that is how the market works. Always leave a margin of safety. No matter how confident you are in an investment, never bet the farm on it. You're driving. You leave a safe distance between you and the car in front, right? When engineers build a bridge, they design it to withstand far more weight than it will ever actually carry, right? Anything they do, smart people leave themselves an out. This is especially true in investing. The margin of safety means buying $1's worth of value for 50 cents. When you buy something for far less than its intrinsic worth, you create a huge cushion for yourself. Even if you've made a mistake in your judgment, and the dollar of value is actually only worth 70 cents, you still make money. The size of that margin determines how well you sleep at night. Seeking 100% accuracy is a job for God. All we mortals can do is admit that we will make mistakes and then prepare a thick safety net for ourselves in advance. At certain times, cash is oxygen. Many people look down on cash, thinking it just gets eaten away by inflation in a bank account. In a bull market, when you're watching everyone else get rich while you're holding cash, you feel like an idiot. But when the bear market arrives, when there's blood in the streets and everyone is desperate for money, the cash in your hands is no longer trash. It's oxygen. It's ammunition. It's the ace up your sleeve that gives you the ability to buy when assets are cheapest and opportunities are greatest. You can calmly take the great companies that others are forced to sell out of panic or margin calls. The assets that were once priced astronomically high, completely out of your reach, are now offered to you at fire sale prices. So, always keep a portion of your assets in cash, not to earn interest, but to wait for that once-in-a-decade opportunity. When opportunity comes, the person with cash is the one who wins. Never ever use borrowed money to invest. I'll repeat that, never. This is a red line you cannot cross. If you cross it, you're not far from hell. If you invest with your own money, the worst that can happen is you lose it all and start from zero. If you invest with borrowed money and the market doesn't go your way, you don't just lose everything. You end up with a mountain of debt. That kind of pressure will destroy your judgment and force you to make even more mistakes. You will be forced to sell at the worst possible time because of a margin call. That's a wipeout. A wipeout is game over. You don't even get a chance to get back on your feet. I've seen too many families destroyed by leverage and margin loans. They were originally smart, decent people, but the demon of leverage magnified their greed, and then it magnified their losses until it swallowed them whole. Remember, at all times, survival is more important than profit. Compound interest is a snowball. The key is to find wet snow and a really long hill. That's a buffet line. Wet snow, that means good companies that can consistently create value and grow steadily. They have great business models and deep moats, making it hard for others to compete. They're like printing presses. A really long hill, the time. You have to give the snowball a long enough runway to get rolling. If you roll it down one hill today and then pick it up and move it to another hill tomorrow, it will never get big. This means you need extreme patience to resist the temptation to trade frequently. Find a good company, buy it at a reasonable price, and then just sit back and watch that little snowball, through the magic of time, grow into a giant. That sounds simple, right? But precisely because it's so simple, so slow, and so boring, the vast majority of people can't do it. The most expensive thing in the world is someone else's advice. You'll find that everyone is happy to give you advice. The security guard downstairs, the owner of the breakfast shop, your barber. They might all mysteriously whisper a sure thing stock tip to you. If you listen and make money, you'll think they're a genius, and you'll invest even more the next time. If you lose money, you just have to suck it up. See, for them, it's a can't-lose proposition, but for you, you are entrusting your entire financial well-being to someone you know nothing about. Isn't that absurd? You must take 100% responsibility for every single one of your decisions. This means that anything you buy must be based on your own research and judgment. You have to be able to write down, in your own words, on a single sheet of paper, exactly why you are buying it. If you can't do that, don't buy it. Independent thinking is the most valuable trait in the world of investing. You get rich by concentrating. You stay rich by diversifying. This is another one of those brilliant paradoxes. The people who become truly wealthy through investing or entrepreneurship are almost always extremely focused in their early stages. They pour all of their time, energy, and money into the one opportunity they understand best and give it their all. That is the wealth creation phase. But once your wealth reaches a certain level, your primary goal changes. It's no longer about chasing the highest returns. It's about preserving the wealth you have. This is when you need to diversify. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. Your assets need to be allocated across different countries, industries, and classes. That way, if a disaster strikes in one area, it won't wipe you out completely. Many people never get rich because they never dared to concentrate. And many rich people become poor again because they never learn to diversify. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. Another old saying, but there's enough wisdom in it to last a lifetime. People are so easily mesmerized by price. They watch the numbers flicker on the screen, their mood rising and falling with them. But they rarely stop to think about the value that number represents. When you buy groceries, you pick through the vegetables, you weigh them. But when you buy stocks, you throw hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars at them, often without even knowing what the company sells. Isn't that bizarre? You are not buying a ticker symbol. You are buying a part of a real existing business. Its factories, its patents, its brand, the hard work of its employees. That is the value. The price is just the market's temporary bid for that value, and it's often a crazy, irrational bid. A smart investor is someone who profits from the market's bidding errors. His focus is always anchored to value. So, no matter how stormy the seas of price get, his ship will not capsize. The best investment is in yourself. You might think this is a cliche, but I'm telling you, it's the most profound truth I've learned in my 90+ years. All of your stocks, real estate, and gold can betray you at some point. Their value can go to zero. But there is only one asset that will never leave you and will only appreciate over time: your own brain, your own abilities. The time you spend learning a new skill, reading a good book, or building a healthy body has an infinite rate of return. The more you know, the harder you are to fool. The more capable you are, the more ways you have to earn money. Finally, I want to say that the end goal of wealth is not a number. It's a state of being. That state is called freedom. It's the day you no longer have to do work you dislike just for the money. It's when you can freely choose who you spend your time with, where you live, and how you spend every one of your days. The money is just a tool to get there. It is not the destination itself. A lot of people get this backwards. They chase a number, thinking a bigger number means more happiness, and they end up as slaves to their money. They have wealth, but no time, no health, and no peace of mind. What's the point of that kind of wealth? So, let's go back to where we started. First, learn not to lose money. Defend your principle. Defend your castle. Then, with a lifetime of patience, let time work its magic. Don't be in a hurry. Take it slow. The victory in this game doesn't belong to the person who runs the fastest. It belongs to the person who lives the longest and stays in the game the longest.